I have a dark horse team for who should trade for Watson. We're not going to get to that just yet. But I want to start with Russell Wilson being traded to Denver. First of all, before we even get into that, how are you guys today? Is everybody doing okay?
Is that your open? Were you trying something new?
Yeah, you was like, you know what? Fuck how y'all feel. Fuck the viewers. Like, you ain't say welcome back.
We gonna try something new.
None of this shit.
Wait,
I never do. I don't do the like, hey, welcome to this is episode 105. I'm not Pat Sajak, bro. I don't give a shit about that. I want people to come into it.
Wouldn't do that.
First of all, how do you know what Pat Sajak
they're
would do?
part of a conversation. I want them to come into watching a conversation happen, not watching people put on a show. That's how I feel.
But there's a difference. There's like, if you're watching a Joe Budden clip where you know they took the clip from the middle of a conversation, it's one thing. The other things, there's a huge intro. Like even the pivot. Yeah, we watched 3 minutes worth of intros.
Guess what?
I hate
none of this. None of this should be here.
I hate all of it. That's what I'm saying.
None of this should be here.
Hey, also,
we're having a conversation. This is how it works. I like this. I like this. This is the kind of content I like.
That was the start of the conversation. It isn't like we were in the middle. I was like, I have a dark horse team for Deshaun. But before we get to that, we want to talk about Russell Wilson.
Yeah, why are you shitting on the way he's trying to do things?
Because I don't like. Because here's the thing. Because I gotta keep it to real. I gotta keep it to real. There's like, I respect less the fake. We're in the middle of a conversation bullshit.
We were in the middle of a conversation.
That wasn't the fake. We're in the middle of a conversation. I literally I was reading on the Athletic and I saw.
Fine. I relent.
3.
Drink your beer and calm down.
1.
We're not starting over.
We did. That was the intro. We're just gonna have you.
We're leaving that in.
We're just gonna have you counting in the show.
Fine. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm an accountant, so I just count shit.
I like behind the scenes shit on my shows. That's what I care about.
It's early in the morning, so I just start counting shit.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't start off this morning yelling at anybody yet. I think
that's true.
Okay, so let's start with the biggest news probably in, I guess, the NFL. With Russell Wilson being traded to Denver. He was traded for 2 first-round picks, one in 2022 this year and one in 2023. Second-round picks in 22 and 23. And they also got a 5th-round pick this year and Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and defensive lineman Shelby Harris for Russell Wilson and the 4th rounder who went to Denver. So everybody give me your thoughts on Sierra moving to Denver.
Fuck.
Yeehaw, motherfuckers.
We just talked to James on how the Raiders feel. How Raiders fans feel.
Look, fam. Like,
hey, you guys just read Crosby for 98.98.
Yeah.
No, he deserved that.
Max Crosby, we want to give you $100 million.
We can talk about Max like separate. But for
we won't be brought up, but you bring him up.
We won't.
Oh, he won't be? All right, fine. Fuck it. I'll go into it now. It was his 2nd anniversary of his the day he decided to go sober, which is great. They gave him 98.98 million. Okay.
And this is a Long Island, so cheers, Max.
Yeah, I'm actually drinking coffee, so
it's like only you fucktards with like cheers, like somebody that's celebrating being sober.
Oh, wait,
I'm celebrating his sobriety. I'm just drinking to celebrate him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing about people who are sober,
I applaud him.
I could never. It's like if you're a vegan and you just expect everybody else to be vegan, that kind of makes you kind of shitty. If you're a sober person, you expect everybody else to be sober because you have to be.
Oh yeah, but nah, they don't come up with like hot dogs and shit and be like, here you go.
Yeah, but if you're the sober guy at the bar, so that I just don't think it's right. All you guys are drinking this booze. It's our podcast. It's just bad.
Hey,
I'm not sitting with Max Crosby. I'm not like putting a drink in his face like, here you go, Max.
Sam.
I doubt he watches
going
this.
Way off topic again.
You did this.
So no, I didn't.
Yes,
so
we're talking about Max Crosby. You did this.
Shut up. All right. So he got 98.98 million, which is great. 2nd year of sobriety, which is awesome. I haven't seen the press conference yet, but he's gonna earn all that damn money because the AFC West is fucking stacked now. They were stacked before, but now it's like, goddamn.
I mean, can you imagine now that they have a quarterback?
Yeah.
The the level of growth of what's his name? Surtain's testicles. Now that he can cover and know that somebody on the other side of the ball is going to score, right? Wow. So like his job actually matters now. Jerry Jeudy's going to, assuming he's still as good as I remember, because he was good, but he was hurt too. Yeah, and he hasn't had. I mean, Drew Lock, great name, horrible quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a fun team to watch, assuming it works as I think it's going to work, because their main thing was no pass game. Like they ran they were running their running backs into the ground because they had nobody to throw. I mean, Teddy B was serviceable, but he got hurt like every other play. So it's going to be fun.
Did he get hurt? Good point, Ryan. Did he get hurt because they weren't blocking for him though?
Yeah.
That, and he remember when he scrambled.
But Russ is used to that.
He got hit in the head.
But that's the part of why he wanted it though.
That's true.
That's a part of why so the two reasons from just my research of him wanting out, he said three. Run heavy offense. You know, he wanted to pass more. He wanted more input on like personnel, things like that. Two, they weren't fucking blocking for him. Like they just weren't fucking blocking for him. They didn't get anybody to block for him. I think he's been the most sacked quarterback since 2013.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
And he's going to another division of pass rushers. So,
hey, rest in peace.
Like the end of the era of, because we're noticing the end of the Seattle era, that Super Bowl team, right? The Legion of Boom was the first to go boom. Then you have Bobby Wagner, who's been trashing the team on Twitter because he didn't realize he wasn't going to come back until, I guess, the media knew that he wasn't going to be back.
Come on.
What?
That's terrible that they did that.
Oh no, agreed.
That's terrible.
But I feel like there's been front office problems with the Seahawks for a hot minute. Like that's
just like fam.
Look at the way the Legion go boom.
Exactly. That's why they broke up, was because there's front office issues. You don't break up that good of a defense.
Who was it? Earl Thomas or Cam Chancellor gave the finger as they were walking off.
Earl Thomas.
Right.
Who was no longer employed.
Yeah, because what was it? Derrick Henry stole his soul.
No.
Didn't he shoot somebody?
It's because let's not talk about it.
Is Earl Thomas the one where him and his brother? Is that one?
Let's not talk
that's
about
not even why.
I don't think that's why he got a league.
I know, but that was just bad.
It was because he punched a Raven. He punched a teammate on the Ravens.
Oh, right. Well, I still think that also only happened because of what that running back did to him with that stiff arm. Should say, I'm putting that out there. It was never the same since that. The same way we look at Antonio after the Montez perfect is the same way we got to look at Earl Thomas, and the shit kind of went downhill ever since that particular point in time. But Russell Wilson leaving, I think he's going to miss having Noah Fant just there in Denver. I was surprised that was also part of the move. Considering everything else. Good tight end. Patrick, I think is that his last name? Who's he?
That's a third receiver.
Third receiver.
It's like
who's the other
name starts with an O. But
I think I know who you're talking about. I just can't pull it up.
And he's good. And no offense, not
you're gonna pull it up and not be able to pronounce it as the
I know. But Noah Fant's not as good as everybody thinks he is.
Oh no, I think Noah Fant has a lot of talent, but that's but I also know that they have Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, and stuff throwing the football.
Yeah, he's gonna have Drew Lock again.
It's Albert Okay.
Yeah, they call him Alberto. That's what they call him.
Yeah, Alberto. All right, but now Noah Fant's going to be with Drew Lock again in Seattle.
Yeah, I know. Noah Fant's the most pissed off of anyone in this entire trade situation.
Yeah.
Like, really? I'm a first-round pick. Y'all fucking sending me with Drew Lock. Y'all getting Russ. The fuck is that?
Unless what they do is take those newly acquired picks and throw them maybe down to Houston. And
Noah Fant's supposed to be happier than that?
If are you Deshaun Watson?
Oh, I thought you meant Noah was going to get packaged with the picks.
Oh no!
That'd be hilarious.
Noah's just like,
you know what, Drew Lock?
Noah Fant's packing his shit in Denver right now, trying to convince his family, like, Seattle's not going to be that bad. It's going to be okay. Then he gets off the plane. You're going to Houston. The fuck?
Hey, strip clubs.
He gets a phone call from Bun B. Hey, bro.
And Paul Wall.
Hey, man, you gonna be the people's champ now.
Look, Russ going.
People's champ.
Russ going to Denver with what's the fucking coach's name that was supposed to entice Aaron Rodgers to come by? That didn't work out. Right, Hackett. I think Hackett's going to have an open book with Russell. Aaron didn't come over. Hey guys, let's try anything. Right. I think Russell's going to be able to cook in Denver compared to what it is they've been doing in Seattle. Even though, look, there's sometimes when they let Russ cook, it shouldn't happen. Goal line, Marshawn Lynch, just throwing it out there for anybody that maybe forgot about it.
One of the most important plays in history.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, no, absolutely.
I agree. And to be fair, that was also like Russ's like third year in the league.
Yeah, that was so long ago, man.
Like third or fourth year. Like he wasn't. It was 2014 because he wasn't what he is now. Like he was essentially what Tom Brady was when they won those first few Super Bowls, where it was just like good quarterback, more of a game manager than anything, but good enough that he can win you maybe a game or two, in clutch situations.
What year did he win his Super Bowl? Wasn't that second year?
13. Yeah, I think it was second year. 13.
Second year, and then he goes back, and then he has.
That was on his rookie contract.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't gotten back, so want to know. The big thing, the biggest takeaway is just what the AFC West now looks like as far as the quarterback play. Where it's not like Derek Carr is the worst of the four in the division, but that's not saying a lot. I still think Derek Carr is probably a top 15 quarterback in the league. So just from a quarterback play standpoint, Jesus Christ, maybe this lights a fire to Derek Carr being like, hey, mother, I ain't going to be the one left out here in the cold. So well, I don't know, but it's just going to be a lot of fun. And then, I mean, we're going to talk about the other trade that's shaking up that division as well. But yeah, that's just going to be fun to watch. Just incredible quarterback play back and forth. Any of these guys are going to be able to be in games. Russell in his fourth quarter comebacks. Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Justin Herbert is only getting better. It's going to be fun.
They're going to need to. These teams are going to need to start spending money on their defensive lines.
Yep. So, which is what we started to do.
So question then, how do we see this division shaking out then with that? Like, because now you've got, I have two questions. We'll tackle this first one first, and I'll come back around. We can all tackle the second one. And the first question is, again, how do we see the division kind of shaking out now? Like, who's going to be fighting for, as far as fighting for playoff spots, who's going to, fight for actual, who's going to be, in contention for winning that division, who's going to still be remaining in contention for playoffs, things of that nature. And the second question will be basically, well, we'll get to that later. I don't like to double ask. So let's start with that.
Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. I think for me, it's the Broncos is also dependent on what they do the rest of this offseason. I like that they're talking about having Von Miller come back. At least that feels like it's a vibe. I just want to see what happens as far as the draft. The rest of the mainly they ain't really got draft picks anymore, but the rest of the rest of the offseason. But I just think Kansas City, I'm not going to pick against them. I think Herbert's only getting better, and they've also made other acquisitions this offseason I think make them better. Yeah. But I think this could change. This is the way too early prediction.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, I have the Raiders above the Broncos because you add Russell Wilson, you're adding a very good quarterback, but their just team play last year wasn't great, right? So the Raiders are a proven commodity right now. I think probably halfway through the season, we're reevaluating here because they got to play each other twice. So like you could be a fantastic team and still, lose 5 games in division and be like, well, you're out of the playoffs now, Justin Herbert or Russell Wilson. So I think that easily Mahomes and company is still the best team, but that can change too, right? Because they had some off weeks last year. If they have off weeks in this division, you slide out pretty quickly, but I will have the Broncos in fourth until I see otherwise.
James?
Well, sucks to say, but the Chiefs are the best team in the division at the moment until proven otherise.
I can tell the Chargers. Like, the way you put your head down, like you like to say, like 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 a little kid, like coming to tell their mom, I got an F.
Yeah. Outside of that, we did beat the Chargers to make the playoffs, and they didn't last year. They did add Khalil Mack, so that's a big piece. It was going in overtime, so you got to put them ahead at that point just because of Khalil Mack, but we'll see what else happens in the offseason. I mean, we did get rid of the whole situation of last year. So, I mean, fuck it. I could say it's still even.
Yeah. Also added a better coach, in my opinion, than you had in John Gruden. I know John Gruden wasn't the coach, toward the end. I know that. I'm aware of that.
K-Dot has said, like, for years that John Gruden's overrated.
Oh no, I always thought it was stupid that NFL teams were even considering him back in the day. I was like, do we know what he did? Like the Super Bowl he won with Tony Dungy. I'm not even gonna get into that.
But then he played his team. So
yeah, that's sure, but it wasn't coached by Tony Dungy, because if it was, they would have lost.
Fisher without the beard.
Okay, but so I'll say that we're us in the charge of neck and neck. I don't respect Denver. Russell Wilson went from having DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett to Jerry Jeudy, and that's it. And
no, they got Travis Fulgham.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he went from having a better offensive setup to worse.
They still have Cortland Sutton, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they have the best. Not the best. They have one of the best wide receiver trios. They got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Tim Patrick. Like that, they don't need Noah Fant necessarily.
I think,
but he would have added.
They just re-signed him, didn't they?
Yes.
Because wasn't he like a free agent?
Yes.
Can I say one thing in Denver's defense for a sec? Denver won 7 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
They have a top 10 defense.
Mm-hmm.
They might add Von Miller. Do I think Russell Wilson is 3 games better than Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah. Yes, you do.
That's all I want.
You think you can say that for sure he's 3, he might be 5.
Right. So that's all I need to know. At least that for me.
Guess what?
The defense
it's my turn. It's my turn.
I asked you. You gave me. You let me have it.
Hey, look. At the end of the day, it's this. They got to play the games.
Yeah, of course.
So,
I'm hearing
we sandwich it now, and then, like we said, we'll revisit it and be like, yeah. But I mean, at this point, I don't believe in Denver. I just don't. So, but we'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like this is the toughest division in football.
Oh yeah, I would agree.
So,
at least in terms of quarterback play.
Yeah.
I mean, to watch
the worst team in the division just got Russell Wilson.
Right. But to watch the toughest division in the league is still going to be the NFC East. It's going to be horrible.
Fuck you.
Horrible. Well, I mean, hey, look, they got Carson Wentz though.
We're going to talk about that later.
No, we can talk about it now.
I'm letting the host.
We're going to get into Carson
Wentz. We should stay in the division. There's another move there.
There's bigger news to get to before we get into Carson Wentz.
That's fair enough.
But since we kind of segued into Khalil Mack anyway, but before I get to Khalil Mack, I do want to say I just feel like the way the division shakes out is I'll go. It's funny because we also have to consider that Denver has a new coach, a first-year head coach. And that can be shaky. He could have all the talent at his disposal and fuck that up completely. I have some faith in him. I'm not the biggest fan. I don't know him that well. But I have some faith in him. And I'll just say, if he does well, I could see Denver being an 11 or 12 win team. I can, along with Kansas City in that division, I can see Kansas City dropping down a little bit, maybe to 10 or 11 wins. The Chargers in the same kind of conversation, and the Raiders, I think they'll be close. It's crazy because that division is sick. It's almost or is the best division in football, which is my next question to you guys. Is the AFC West the best division in football?
Yeah.
In terms of top to bottom, yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. No, I can't wait to make my point. Go ahead, K-Dot.
Okay. Yeah. I want to see where you're going with this.
I know.
I want to. So Russ was in the NFC West, which I did think was the best division of football, and he's left it. Which is the only reason I guess by default, just looking at the quarterbacks that are there, I might, just based on the quarterbacks, I'm probably going to say AFC West at this point.
Oh, wait.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Hold on.
No, let me make my point.
Wait, hold on.
Because all y'all saying yes.
The AFC North is not.
No, I know this. No, let me make my point.
Who the fuck is coach in
let
Pittsburgh?
Me make my point. Host. I got this.
My bad.
All y'all said AFC West, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not saying it very strongly.
Bengals or Raiders? Bengals or Raiders?
Bengals.
Bengals or Chargers?
Didn't they win?
Hush.
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Bengals or Chargers?
Chargers.
I'm going Chargers going into this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really think the Bengals are coming back down.
Okay. Bengals or Broncos?
Bengals.
Yeah.
But you're just naming one team.
Yeah.
He's going line by line.
And then go ahead. Bengals or Chiefs? You gonna do that? So Chiefs?
No, I'm not even gonna do that. That's
okay.
All right. Okay.
Baltimore or Raiders? All right, we got that one taken care of. Baltimore or Chargers?
We beat y'all.
Chargers.
Great, guy. Who cares?
Yes.
Y'all not better.
I do.
Baltimore or Chargers?
The fuck?
Chargers. I got to see Baltimore field a healthy team.
Y'all love Justin Herbert. Y'all
no. I literally just need to see Baltimore capable of fielding a healthy team. Like the jury's still out. We're doing way too early predictions. If they can make it through preseason with running backs intact, then I'm like, all right, Baltimore. But they've shown me they can get more injuries than I don't think anybody can.
Okay, they had a bad one injury riddled season, but okay, sure. If we want to go that route, like what have you done for
it scared me off just a little bit. I think if they're at full steam, full health, give me Baltimore, but they've got to be at full health.
It'll give me Chargers.
Yeah, that Chargers team.
I think I'm not even gonna get to, but I think if you would say, let's say the Chiefs are the best team in football. Let's just say that. I don't think they are. I'm just saying.
I don't want to say that.
As far as the AFC, let's say it's the Chiefs, right? And then you can go, who are the next tier teams as far as being able to win the Super Bowl? Mm-hmm. I think there are more teams from the AFC North in that can win the Super Bowl than there are from the AFC West.
I don't agree with you. And the reason I don't agree with you is Cleveland did not get better. And we don't
know. They have a lot. They have a lot of assets to make.
They have not gotten better yet. Kareem Hunt looks like he's gone. OBJ is gone. Juice looks like he's gone.
Too, but
I get it. I was defending Baker all of last year. Consider why didn't they start Case Keenum midway through the season, right? I get that, but there's
we're a year removed from them. Should have beaten the Chiefs in the playoffs.
They need a new coach.
I get it, but what happened? But what happened last year looks
so far. They need a new coach first.
All right. So even with that, Cincinnati, I think everything had to fall in a particular way. I don't know how you replicate that. Maybe they just do it again. I bet anything against it.
They have a lot of cap space.
They got a lot of cap space,
and it all needs to go to the offensive
line, right? But
because guess what, Joe Burrow's going to get hurt.
Yeah,
if they keep protecting him like that.
Is Joe can't sustain this unless they really.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Baltimore, let's keep it a buck. Lamar Jackson is 2 years removed from looking really good.
Oh, we're lying now. Okay.
I don't think he looked good last year.
Okay.
And you remember we ranked the quarterbacks at the end of the year, and I remember I had Lamar. I think he's gonna come back.
The Colts game didn't happen. That didn't happen. I get it.
So a game, goddamn. But we're overall team. Justin Herbert,
there are other games.
Justin Herbert has continuously gotten better. I can't say the exact same thing about Lamar Jackson. That's what I'm saying.
You can't say that?
No, I can't.
I think you should read up on him.
Since his MVP run, I think since his MVP run, he's been great as far as what Lamar brings. Okay.
I think you should do your research.
I think that listening to Baltimore radio, they're motherfucking look. I think they're crazy for even.
I would not get my information from radio, but hey, to each his own.
The idea here in Baltimore that's been floated, and I think it's crazy, but the idea that it's even floated in this town is whether or not Lamar Jackson, since he hasn't re-signed on this contract, we should be looking to build around Huntley.
Yeah,
hey, it's
they said it on ESPN too. They said it on ESPN as well. So hey, I don't know.
You know
how
what
much
that is.
To whom?
You know what that is. That's just contract negotiations.
All I know is that right now I agreed with you in saying that I'm going to give Lamar credit, and I actually picked the Ravens over the Chargers. And I think that I'm not doing that based on what I've seen lately. I'm doing that based on hope that I think Lamar can get shit back together. That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. If we did it on what we've seen lately from the fucking Chargers, it's that they haven't made the playoffs.
They're getting better.
That's my playoffs. They haven't made the playoffs.
But I can see a team ascending.
Like, what are we talking about? Like they haven't made the playoffs lately. The Raiders just made the playoffs. Like I'm a more of a person. I want to look at what
we didn't just make the playoffs, fam.
Hold on. All right, Pittsburgh made the playoffs last year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Who are you picking them? Who are you picking them over in the AFC West?
I just I said I'm looking at what a team has done in the last 3 years. Have the Chargers made the playoffs in the last 3 years? I think they made it in Phillip Rivers in the third year, 3 years ago.
And then they have a brand new quarterback, and he's ascending.
Great.
Right. That is great.
He's ascending. He had a great rookie year. He had a great sophomore year. They didn't make the playoffs.
Okay.
He's ascending though.
Look, we're gonna agree to disagree because your Baltimore I love purple bullshit is just all over you right now.
This has nothing to do with
yeah. Okay. All right. What's your next question as far as the division goes?
We're talking about the Chargers.
How high pitch is he gonna get?
Okay. Where we at? You know what? Let me just. All right. So Deshaun Watson cleared the criminal charges. What do y'all want to? Y'all go ahead.
Do we want to do Khalil Mack, or are we doing the? Do you want?
Oh yeah, let's talk about Khalil.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to.
No. It's fine. It's fine. We can segue into Khalil.
Because we were talking about the Chargers. Right? You want to talk about the Chargers?
Oh yeah, no. Khalil Mack. He's on the Chargers now. He's 31 years old. He missed I think 7 games last year, or he played 7 games. I can't remember. But in the games that he played, he had 7 sacks and 6 QB hurries. I think it was he played 7. He missed a lot, which is rare for him. He's usually a very durable guy. Mm-hmm. And so he had 7 sacks and 6 QB hurries. So he had a great season for the amount of time that he played. And he is now with the Chargers. They're adding him next to Bosa, similar to what I feel like what the Rams did with Donald and Von Miller, where you got the older guy, the vet, who just, if you're not going to double team him, I'm afraid. So go ahead and talk about that.
I think Khalil Mack is better than Von Miller at this point in their career.
For sure.
Yeah. And then Aaron Donald's miles ahead of Joey Bosa. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just more so the double. The double. Who you gonna double?
And it's kind of like if you think about it, I think I forgot who's supposed to get Chandler Jones, but one of the teams in AFC West is supposed to get him, right?
I'll look it up.
And it hasn't happened yet, but it's like projected.
I know it's rumored.
Yeah. It might be Denver. I don't know, but it's like we have Max Crosby and Ngakoue. The Chargers now have Bosa and Mack. So it's going to be an arms race for D linemen. Yeah, it sucks. I'm just going to throw it out there. Like, that shit hurts. Like, out of all teams in the fucking NFL, they send his ass to the Chargers. It would have been worse for the Chiefs. But, wait, doesn't Khalil Mack have a no trades clause too?
I'm not sure.
I think he does. I think because when this all came out, Charles Woodson was like, hey, hey, Khalil, don't you have that no trade clause, bro? What you doing?
Hey, but you can waive that clause.
It's like, come on, man. Send him back to Vegas, man. Come on. But yeah, I mean, it was for a second in the 6th round or 2. Like that's not a lot for him. So yeah, it sucked, but it is what it is. I think we got a couple firsts for him.
What? Who got
when we traded him to Chicago?
The haul that the Raiders got was much better, which also, and this is more of just a question to you, James. Does that mean the Bears wildly, insanely lost that trade?
No.
Oh God.
It doesn't?
Mm-mm.
You don't think so?
No. It's I mean, it's kind of like they had the opportunity, they just fumbled it. So like
so when you say they lost it,
okay, yeah.
That's my point. That's my only thing is like,
I mean, but at the time, it was like analytic, like, but we fucked up too. Like the same shit with the Amari Cooper thing. It's we had everything we could have fucking won it like insanely, like much more than we actually did, just because as you pointed out to everybody on Twitter.
A lot of people agree with me. I just want to point that out.
I know, but more people agree with me. So
no, if you check the likes,
it wasn't. Look, they agree with you more. They did. No, you didn't. They agree with you more. Like the people actually agree with you more. They just liked my comment more because it was like.
I'm gonna go back and screenshot it. I'm gonna show you. I had a lot of likes.
Okay,
I know you did. I was like, damn. They like James, and I was like, oh, they fucking with me.
It happened again. We're talking Raiders. Back to Khalil Mack and where he is now, not 6 years ago, is look, I love this move.
Well, he's not in Washington.
I know, but Washington's at least on the list today. So Khalil Mack going to Brandon Staley, who Brandon Staley was actually the outside linebackers coach in Chicago when he first got traded over there and had that amazing first season. So I think you got Brandon Staley that really, really wants to have him back. Look, the Chargers defense, if you're looking at any rank, was absolute ass last year. And they're in a division. I mean, I think they were like 25th. 25th. Maybe 29th.
Hold on.
No, you might be right.
Before we go, which tweet you talking about? Because the most you got was 19 likes.
Shut up. Listen,
mine's at 202. All right, well, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah.
I just had to check it.
So having him being able to play off of Bosa is going to be interesting. The defense, I still think they need a lot more work done on that defense, but they have some interesting pieces. Derwin James in there in the back, and those two guys is right. I guess what they're basically saying is that, hey, you're going to be able to do some things offensively or offensively to us. You maybe run the football a significant amount, but we're going to be after your fucking quarterbacks in this quarterback heavy division. And maybe we got some guys in the back end that can take some chances, get some turnovers. But they still need some stuff to move in the right direction. I think what they want to do is give Herbert an opportunity. I think they're looking at the way their season ended. They just want more opportunities for Herbert to go out there and put more points on the board.
Yeah.
And this does it with Khalil. I like the move a lot.
Yeah, I hate the move, but I like it for them, but I hate it for everybody else. Okay.
I'm done.
Ryan, you got
any thoughts?
I'm done.
Did you say anything?
What?
No, he did not touch this.
No, look, like I said before, it is going to be everybody in that division is going to be racing for defenders at this point.
Yep.
Because you have to stop 4 very, very good and or elite quarterbacks, depending on which team you're talking about. And if you lose both games to one of those teams in division, you're in big trouble getting to the playoffs. So it almost doesn't. Do you even need running backs on your team? I don't know. Just put a tight end back there, have him block.
Yes.
I think I will just say this. I think the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos, if they can get Von Miller back, and maybe add another piece to that defense, they have the formula to stop the Chiefs. And so with that, I would say maybe the Chiefs have 4 losses in division instead of, whatever they had last year. And then maybe they lose a couple more outside of the division, and I could see them not making the playoffs. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying the teams, the Raiders had
1 loss in division.
Right. So I think the Raiders can have the pass rush. I think the Chargers have the pass rush to, hey, we're going to send 4, and we're going to let Mahomes run around, but we think we can get there. And so I think,
but we got a lot more work to do, because
I don't disagree with you.
The only thing we did was we just changed the coaching staff. Like, we actually need, like, if McDaniels come in and do like what they did over in New England, cool. But we need more weapons on offense and defense.
I don't disagree with you, but I think you have the talent on the line. Are you guys, because you guys resigned Yannick? You resigned Yannick? Or is
Yannick is still under contract, but like we need we need D linemen though.
But all I'm saying is you have the formula. That's all I'm saying. You have that piece. You put two guys in the middle. As long as they're not like 200 pounds.
Well, I don't know what Patrick Graham is going to run. Like he's more of an amoeba defensive coordinator.
Which is great, which is exactly what you need, which is because you need a defensive coordinator.
Didn't the Giants give the Chiefs a fits?
What?
The Giants you remember the Giants played the Chiefs on like Monday Night Football, and the Chiefs barely score, right?
It was closer than it should have been. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that D coordinator. So
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. You're multiple, and now you can be. So, but anyway, so that's just my opinion on the situation as far as like the Chargers and everything. I can't wait to see how that division shakes out. The three best divisions in divisions in football: AFC West, NFC West, and the AFC North. I just can't wait to see how that all shakes out.
Because I would put the AFC North over the NFC West.
I don't know. I was gonna say because it's a lot. It depends on how everything shakes out with everything. Because if the Steelers get Deshaun, then I would love to revisit this conversation.
Yep.
If the Browns get Deshaun, I would love to revisit this conversation. But
I just know the NFC East got it on lock. We are the worst division of football. Y'all can't fucking touch us. We did that shit. Maybe the AFC North.
No.
But technically, Deshaun's still there, so I don't want to hear.
No, they're not.
Like it's just
no, they're not. I don't think they are.
Who's worse than that?
I don't even think you guys are the worst division in football.
NFC South. Oh,
I was gonna say AFC South actually, but
that's what I'm saying. But they got Deshaun for now.
But they're in the top five. I think the Jaguars and the Texans are in the top five as far as.
And the Colts about to get somebody. I think Jimmy G. Somebody. They're going there.
No, they got Sam.
I thought y'all were going to get Jimmy G, but y'all ended up getting Carson Wentz.
No, Jimmy G was
great segue.
Was the worst.
We're a little early. I guess we'll just fuck Deshaun Watson. But Carson Wentz. Let's go ahead and get this 3-minute segment out the way. Carson Wentz was traded to the DC Commanders. What are you guys' thoughts on the trade? I want to give my thoughts first. So I want to say I don't understand why like teams are so quick to give up on Carson like he's just a shit quarterback. He's a very solid quarterback. He had 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions last year. He's the same quarterback that he was when he was with the Eagles. Like in that season, which almost was his MVP season, he had 32 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Like, but he missed like the last, I think 4 games or 5 games or something like that. So obviously his touchdown percentage was a little bit better. But he was completing like 62% of his passes then. He's completing 62% now. The only difference I think is that he's not as aggressive downfield, which is the problem. But looking at him and Taylor Heineke as far as expected points added, Carson Wentz is 11th in the league at quarterback as far as expected points added, and Taylor Heineke was, I believe, 29th. So it's a huge upgrade for them. It's something that I think it would be stupid for I wouldn't say it would be stupid. I wouldn't understand a DC fan not liking the move because if it's an upgrade. The only reason I would say I would not like it if I was a DC fan is we missed out on Deshaun. We could have had Deshaun. We don't know if you could have had Deshaun because I think he has a trade clause. And I think he can kind of choose where he wants to get his massages. And so with that,
he can hang out with Dan.
He can. They would go to the same places. And with that, I would just say I don't understand why. I guess it might be just because of his price tag. I know he has a hefty price tag, and you're paying Carson Wentz a lot to be 11th.
But
I guess you're paying him you want him to be 7th or 6th.
It's not even that much. It's like $29 million a year. Fucking the guy who can't win a fucking game in the playoffs just got $50 million a year. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a kind of a bargain.
Well,
I'm not in disagreement.
Those numbers aren't accurate.
And I would say that he's taking up, I believe, 11% of Washington's cap now.
But it's the one piece they haven't had for a decade, right?
Again, Ryan, I'm with you. I just wanted to lay it out, set it up for DC Dynasty over here. So you can go ahead and set that up. I mean, and speak on your team.
The DC Dynasty segment.
Pickle eater, bitch ass motherfucker. Look, I think as a Washington fan who's been
you look like Cartman.
You look like Crunchy Black.
Don't say. Don't say anything.
Fuck you.
Come on.
Your fucking
see off the rails. God damn it.
Street
off the rails.
Link chain.
Off the rails. Come on.
Look. Washington, known for the last 30 years being nothing but mediocre or bad, never really good. And especially in this offseason where you had Ron Rivera in the front office basically say, we're doing a full court press. We got a list of 42 quarterbacks on all 32 teams. They even fucking called Kansas City about Patrick Mahomes. It was basically a cry out that look how hard we're trying. And when it comes back to Carson Wentz is the deal, when the Carson Wentz is the deal, where the only thing that we were really looking forward to as a Washington fan going into this offseason was about a cap room that we had to then go and try to make some moves as far as like somebody on defense, be it a Bobby Wagner or Tyrann Mathieu or anything that we could add to it, while also taking care of some of the dudes we already have that need to get re-signed. J.D. McKissick, Landon Collins, some of those guys. So I think the initial thought when we see this is, oh shit, what the fuck? We just gave up all the cap space for this guy when I think a lot of Washington fans were okay with a Jameis Winston or even fucking a Mitchell Trubisky or anything at like that 10 to 15 mil range where you could then go and do other things. I will say I'm not one of those Washington fans. I actually think that the Carson Wentz move is one of the only moves that Washington could have made. And you got to kind of look and see what's laid out the last few years. Amari Cooper took a pay cut to go play for Dallas last year and not come to Washington. Russell Wilson decided, even though there was more, Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks decided, even though there was more that Washington was offering, we're going to send him to Denver, which I don't give a fuck what they say about the conference thing. The word is out. Russell Wilson did not want to go to Washington, and I don't blame him. Why the fuck would you want to go to Washington with an owner that's dealing with all the bullshit that he's dealing with, and you want to attach your brand and your name to that shit? You need to have Ciara asking press conference questions about the fact that her husband worked for some sexual predator bullshit. Come on. The Deshaun Watson thing was always a pipe dream. Do you really think a team that is being under investigation for sexual harassment can sign the guy who needs to have a massage parlor with him, or a massage parlor or a masseuse with him at any given point in time? No, it's terrible optics for everyone involved, right? There was no chance of anybody worth of value coming to us. So we had to find two things. One, somebody to be forced to come here via trade with no trade clause, and also someone who's fighting for their fucking career, so they have to play hard. A la Carson Wentz. And look, I've been hearing all the narratives about how shitty Carson was. You know what I did last night? And I'm ashamed that I did it, but I fucking did it. I rewatched the Indianapolis Colts fucking Jacksonville Jaguars Week 18 game from last night to just try to understand how the fuck you get a QBR of 4-point-something, motherfucker. And I'm watching the game. I don't know what the fuck Frank Reich was doing. I don't know what the Indianapolis Colts were doing. If you honestly go back and watch the game, Carson was doing everything he possibly could do. I saw one bad throw, one absolutely horrific throw. Beyond that, he was pushing the ball down the field.
The one at the end of the game?
No, that's a different game. The one where he tosses it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not that one.
To just interject, I don't think they trusted Carson, and that's why I wanted to get his stats out, because he's not.
I want to say one thing. I don't trust that Athletic article. The one that's making the rounds right now. What I am hearing more groundswell on is that it's Jim Irsay is the one that didn't want Carson Wentz. And you know Jim Irsay. He likes to throw back a few. He's really loud and obnoxious. And I think the rest of the front office need to do what they need to do to satiate Irsay at this particular point. All the stories you're hearing about Carson Wentz, if you dig a little bit deeper, you start hearing that it's not necessarily accurate. The story about him and Darren Sproles in Philadelphia when Nick Foles was going on the run, you hear LeGarrette Blount tell the story, who was on the team at that particular point in time. We got it kind of mixed up. It wasn't him saying, hey, fuck these guys for winning without me. He was saying, like, yo, they wouldn't have got here if it wasn't for us. Like, we still had our contribution to this team. And I guess it was misinterpreted by Sproles that he was shitting on them, and it went to shit. There's differences in what you're hearing compared to the narrative about Carson. I think this, and Carson needing this, if he doesn't work out here in Washington, I think it's over just because of the narrative. I think it's over just because of the narrative that is his brand right now.
Would you say he would be going back to whence he came? Nailed it.
Yes, something like that. But look, Carson has never been that MVP level guy that we've seen since Big Dick Nick stole it from him. But
at the injury, when he came back, he didn't have the same throwing motion. He was not comfortable in the pocket. Like he just had some issues, which seemed to get resolved last year.
He's been more productive. And I know everybody keeps saying the numbers don't line in Indianapolis. I get it. But even if you watch it, he has some horrific plays in Indianapolis. But I can look towards almost any quarterback and say, what the fuck were you thinking a few times every season? I think it's just being extrapolated a bit more because of Carson and what Jim Irsay and everybody's leaking out of Indianapolis.
Did you watch Washington's quarterback play last year?
Any Washington fan saying that this is not an upgrade is a fucking moron.
Yeah, we saw a quarterback who couldn't throw it 50 yards.
It's an upgrade, but 50? At what cost?
And so here's the other part about that. So even if we're talking about the salary cap situation, right? Landon Collins, we gave $84 million. Why? Then if Landon Collins is supposed to be playing safety, we had to move him from the safety position to play a hybrid linebacker role, a role that we know he didn't want to play even going into this year. So even if it was going to come down to we need to sign Landon Collins, there's no guarantee he's willing to take a pay cut, which he was going to need to take regardless, and he was going to be okay with a position change. So we didn't miss out there. Then if we're also looking at it once again, money spent in free agency, who the fuck wants to come to Washington? So even if you have a Bobby Wagner on the list and you say, Bobby, we're going to pay you X, what is it? Why wouldn't he pull on Amari Cooper and go to a contender that might want a middle linebacker? We can't attract anyone here.
I don't think we need to go too deep into this. K-Dot has a podcast called DC Dumbasses that like he goes into all this like
he is so DC fucking salty today, and I don't know exactly why. It's just I think the back pod. What did we go to like the other night? Like what's going on? Was the baby crying all night? Like what's happening with you, team? Like can we be here for you in some sort of way?
Check out his opinions on that. I think that's all you have to do.
You purple loving dick here. I just don't understand.
So I want to talk about it.
You fucking tinky winking loving motherfucker. You.
Deshaun Watson was cleared of all criminal charges. He's still. I will add that he's still. There's still a civil court case pending. But he was cleared of all criminal charges. And now teams are ramping up, trying to trade for him. All that good shit. So where do we think is the best fit? Haven't heard from you in a while, Ryan. So let's let you speak some because obviously in that last segment only one person cared.
All right, so
which is why he needed to lead it off with all the facts and situations and expected.
So I really think that
okay? He likes to take that mic in his hand, don't he?
Go ahead, Ryan.
He wanted to double.
You cocksucking motherfucker!
Go ahead, Ryan.
I think there are two really, I think, good plays. Well, two, maybe three. So I would love to see him in Seattle, just because it's hard to go from a superstar quarterback to Drew Lock. If I was that fan base, I'd be really upset. But also they have a lot of good pieces, right? They have a talented wide receiving core. Running backs are a dime a dozen, but they have a good coach. And you'd be slotting in another semi-mobile, much more mobile in this case, quarterback with a good arm, right? I think it would work out well. The Saints need a quarterback. Obviously, whatever they were trying last year kind of worked, didn't fully work. Think it'd probably be a good fit there. And the Colts need a quarterback too. So moving on from Carson Wentz, I think they have Sam Ellers, who is a stud in his weekend league with the 50-year-olds. But there's a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks, but those would be the three. If I was him, I'd be looking at in terms of I need to go win something.
Okay. All right. James, we'll go to you, then Kadarius.
All right. So first thing that comes to my mind is
little piece of shit.
Is the Colts. Outside of that, Ryan made a good point about Seattle. I think about Pittsburgh. They need a QB in the biggest way. And then it's probably never, ever going to happen. But maybe the Cardinals.
As a swap?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something else. I'm so proud of you.
No, I'm not saying us. Come on, man.
If he had said that, I would have muted him too.
Look, listen to what I'm saying.
Figures fast today.
It makes sense.
The Cardinals are doing like a smear campaign to begin it, and then Kyler Murray fought back, and then they quote unquote made up. But I mean, if the Cardinals want to move on because they re-signed the coach and the GM, but not Kyler Murray yet, it's like, you know what?
Well, Kyler Murray's, as an aside, he's asking for astronomical money. So,
So if you can say like, all right, we know what Deshaun Watson's making, so we can trade Kyler Murray, who we don't have the biggest like track record with at this point in time, and get Deshaun Watson. But yeah,
I mean, for a straight swap, or with obviously there'll be picks in there to confuse us. That's not a terrible idea. But if I'm Kyler, there's no chance in hell.
I mean, he doesn't have a choice.
Right. But I would go play baseball.
Well, guess what? You know what?
He has that option.
Make the trade go through, and then
retire.
Go play baseball.
Yeah, retire, go play baseball. Be like, dude, that would be the biggest fuck you to dude. Houston's already a dumpster fire. That would be hilarious. That would be good quality comedy right there.
But then outside of that, you could think of like the Giants, but I don't know how that's gonna work.
I mean, the Giants, if what I'm hearing is true, they are fully unloading like some of their talent, and they're again on that 4 year.
They have talent. They have talent there.
No, I said some of their talent, which would be
what talent?
Ingram, like a running back, running back and a tight end. That's it. No, but they're on a 4 year rebuilding plan. So like, why would they give up so much of their future, which is what they need right now, to get a Deshaun Watson? They're a draft a quarterback and see if it works kind of team.
Well, I mean, that's it. If you hear what everybody says about this QB class, like everybody says this QB class is weak. So
I mean, yeah, but they're not even. I'm talking. They're trying to win 5 years from now. They're not trying to win next year. Also, you make a good point. So Pittsburgh embraced.
Yeah, Ben. I know.
Big Ben. So what? You just slot Deshaun right in there. It's like two peas in one pod.
Yeah.
Anybody? No? All right.
No, I saw. Yeah. I saw. Okay, I saw.
All I need is this one motorcycle accident. They're basically the same person.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. Kadeem.
I'm keeping reined in so I don't get muted again. So I think Deshaun's best fit is this. I think Deshaun's best fit is the state of Pennsylvania, either team, Pittsburgh or Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia probably makes the most sense because they have the most trade capital that they can, or draft capital that they can trade without having to actually trade actual players, other than the quarterback Jalen Hurts, which you get rid of him anyway if you want Deshaun Watson. I think either team, that's an instant upgrade. You get Deshaun that goes to the NFC East that has to play against, as people like to call, the Black Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott. Beyond that, it's Carson Wentz and Duke boy.
Wait, that shit was funny as fuck, yeah.
Beyond those, Pittsburgh made the playoffs last year. They shouldn't have made the playoffs last year, but they did make the playoffs last year. And they made the playoffs last year with the corpse of Ben Roethlisberger. I think Deshaun Watson's a hell of an upgrade there. And with Najee Harris there in the backfield, being able to take a lot of pressure off of things, and only probably going to get better before he careens off a cliff like all running backs do. I just think it's a great fit either or. Deshaun's not going to go to some rebuild sort of situation. Not at all. Even if they make and look, even beyond the no trade clause, we've already seen Deshaun is willing to do whatever it takes to not have to play for a team that he doesn't want to play for. You better make it right for him.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, cool. With Deshaun, I think the best fit for him would probably be Pittsburgh, to be honest. The best fit as far as like, and when I say best fit, I think I'm talking about in terms of being able to win a championship. I think they have enough pieces defensively, enough receivers on the offense. They're getting rid of the TikTok dancer who masquerades as a wide receiver some nights. I don't think they're bringing him back, so that will help. And then like Pittsburgh, you just have to give like 1,000 times credit for being able to draft wide receivers. They're really fucking good at it. Just look at their history. They've drafted, Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Claypool, what's the other guy?
Santonio Holmes.
Yeah, they have a history.
Deontay Johnson.
And Deontay, and finding them in later rounds too, not just like, hey, first round pick, gonna take a wide receiver. No, like third round, we see you're gonna be a guy, and they've gotten them. And so you just have to like hats off to Pittsburgh for that. So I think that'd be great for Deshaun. And again with Najee Harris, I think that's the best fit outside of Cleveland. I think Cleveland also has enough talent built around that team defensively and offensively. If you've given them a better quarterback when they played the Chiefs 2 years ago in the playoffs, they would have won that game. I think they would have won that game. That's just my opinion. Deshaun Watson is a hell of an upgrade on Baker. I also think Baker kind of gets a little bit of a bad rap as far as last year goes. He was playing hurt. He's at least, at worst, slightly below average, but I think he's slightly better than average quarterback. And I mean slightly, I mean like this much better than average quarterback. And so he's in that Ryan Tannehill, Kirk Cousins like kind of mold.
Do you think that Cleveland team is very similar to the one 2 years ago?
I think they gotten better. Well, they got rid of Odell now, so the offense isn't as good, but the defense is still there.
And Hunt looks like he's gone.
Yeah.
Who?
Kareem Hunt's gone.
But also, I don't like their offense.
Chubb should get all the touches. I don't care.
I don't like their offense.
Okay.
I mean, but also
I agree with that. I agree. That's fair. That's fair. I think their offense is limited because they don't trust their quarterback though.
Nah,
I think
that's the coach. Like that's the scheme.
The coach not trusting the quarterback.
Yeah,
no,
but I think
scheme. Look at the head coach and look at their offense when he was with Minnesota, and then look what happens when he went to Cleveland. You're not going to get a top receiver to go play for Cleveland
that's fine,
like that, like with that offense.
But you don't need a top receiver necessarily, and by top receiver I mean a top 5 guy or a top 7 guy to win a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't. And I think you can get like if they re-sign Juice, they still have Njoku and Austin Hooper. You got 2 tight ends, 2 pass catching tight ends. Maybe you draft a wide receiver, and I think you have enough with Deshaun and Nick Chubb to win a Super Bowl offensively and considering what they have on the back end defensively. I think those 2 AFC North teams have like the biggest chance to like be pushed over the top and be like a top 3 team, top 4, top 5 as far as contenders go. If they were to get Deshaun Watson.
Revisiting what we were talking about earlier, if Deshaun goes to either Pittsburgh or Cleveland, is the AFC North now and arguably better than the AFC West?
Absolutely.
But there will still be one team that's
trash, as the dude says.
And also, and if I'm Deshaun Watson, I've said this. If I've said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. It's fucking Cleveland.
What team is trash?
What a terrible,
I was just joking.
Awful, horrible.
I'm not saying no team is trash.
And I say this.
I'm like, did I miscount?
No.
With all due respect to everybody in Cleveland, fuck Cleveland. Like, no.
I know how much you hate Cleveland. When I first met Ryan, he was talking about how much he hated Cleveland.
But it has all the pretty chicks with the crimson lips.
No,
they're all singing Cleveland Rocks, man.
That Cleveland is like, it's like a shirt that you bought like 50 years ago and you just washed it too many times and you can't get the color back. It's just bad. It's
fun times in Cleveland again, still Cleveland. Welcome down to Cleveland town, everyone. If you haven't seen the Cleveland Tours video from like 10 years ago that NBA on TNT did, you're missing out on a classic. It's really
I hope he goes to Pittsburgh, to be honest, because watching that team last year freezing my dick off with Big Ben was a painful experience because it was bad football. Big Ben was bad, and they still were a half decent team. And their
team he went to the game.
I blame you for losing. No,
it's just weird to hear.
Well, I mean, Big Ben tried to come steal it after the game.
You're not a white woman in Millersville. I don't believe you.
Honestly, I was so bundled up and clean shaven, I could have been anybody.
You are petite.
I don't think Big Ben's really selective. So,
you are petite.
Ben's just in the crowd. Man. Look at that petite white woman. They're all bundled up. I wonder what she's doing after the game.
Have her come down to my locker.
Damn.
Do you like motorcycles, my dear?
Hey, what's next?
There's a sandwich named after me at Primanti Brothers. Want to get one?
She's a bit thick, isn't she, Ben?
I see the pandemic. You added your pandemic weight.
I was just gonna say, like, AFC North records last year, just wins, 10 wins, 9 wins, 8 wins, 8 wins. AFC West, 12, 10, 9, 7. That's just how good they are. I mean,
what other divisions did they play?
You're adding, huh?
What divisions did they play?
I think the AFC West had the hardest schedule last year.
I forget. Right. Yeah, they might have. I mean, they play. Oh no, they played each other. Fuck. They fucking played each other.
What's that?
They fucking played each other. Yeah.
I know the AFC West had to go through Washington. Crazy.
Hey, it's funny that if the AFC West had the hardest schedule because they had to play the AFC North, they had the hardest schedule because they had to play the tougher division. Okay, so all right, we can kind of pivot from football unless you guys have anything else.
I'm not looking forward to the basketball segment, but we can do whatever we need to do.
I'm letting Ryan. I wanted to go to James, but I'm letting Ryan lead this off because he had smoke.
Yeah, he had smoke.
James would kill it too.
but I'm not liked.
Nah, but see, the part that's gonna piss me off is the fact that you remember I was like, "Yo, play this part." He ain't gonna do it. But go ahead, Ryan.
You said play this part how many months from now or weeks from now?
I'm waiting.
I will.
You said it for K-Dot too?
I promise. I promise you. Last night before I did the Colts Jags game, I did chop up clips from that NBA pod because I'm not gonna hide from it. Just like there's one thing I did do at the end of it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I did it at first to try to defend myself, and then what I did was I made sure I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep it a buck. If I do this for this episode, I'm gonna make sure that everything I said, I'm gonna hold myself to it.
Now I know we're about to talk about the game and shit, right? But K-Dot, you agree with what I said about KP, right?
What do you mean?
He played great, right? But he's not playing tonight.
Oh, you mean availability?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't play great last night.
But you get what I know.
Not like what you mean. Not what you mean.
Yeah, like he played, like when he plays, he's there. But then like he's not gonna play like 3 or 4 games in a row.
Did I say KP was gonna be like an MVP?
No.
You came on here and you were like, we fucking fleeced Dallas. Oh my God. Like
I never said fleece. I've never said fleece.
Nobody said that.
You said y'all won the trade, and you were like, I can't believe Dallas took contract.
No, my big thing was that looking back at the initial John Wall contract, it's gone. Any remnants of the Wall contract is gone. As a Washington fan, I'm extremely happy about that. What I am most happy about is that we have a guy that we're not entirely sure what he is by the end of it. And like that excites me enough. I don't think the jury's out on KP.
We know what he is.
Yeah, I don't think the jury's still out on KP. That's something you can absolutely hold me to. I don't think.
Look, I've never said he's a bad player.
I don't think either of us has said, but I don't think I'm not like saying.
But we know what he is.
I don't think I don't know if we know quite what I still think that ceiling that we saw at the end of Knicks, like he could get back there.
He had a double-double last night on a horrible night shooting.
Man. Like for him to be there, he has to be healthy.
Yeah, I don't think I'm
never going to get back to that point.
I don't think I'm going
to say like big men with injuries, right?
Let's talk about something that really hurts, and that's the 76ers.
So Brooklyn beat Philly.
They beat the shit out of them
badly.
Beat them like
while we were doing a bat pod.
Stepchild.
Yeah, and then Ryan just dropping quotes while we're talking about fucking Michael Keaton like an asshole.
Shout out to the best Batman, Kevin Conroy.
You said Michael Keaton wrong.
I hate you so much.
All right.
So I think my favorite quote after that game was from the DMV's own Kevin Durant, who said it, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's really hard to boo when you're getting your ass beat like that. As you know, this was Ben Simmons' first time back. The fans in Philadelphia did what Philadelphia fans do, and they harassed that poor man. And then his friend, well, dude, he was losing $1 million a week. He had to sell one of his Ferraris. He's really hurting financially.
I need to find a super cut of everything you said about Ben Simmons.
I fucking hate Ben Simmons.
Like flashback.
They waxed the Sixers. Let me just pull up, because I think my favorite line of that game was James Harden's line. And let me pull that up here.
3 of 17.
Oh shit! I looked at it after the first half, and I was like, he's got to shoot like 99% just to come in at like 40% shooting. He was just getting dogged. Kyrie was dogging him. Look, I think that, and I was wrong about this part. I think a healthy Nets is a very, very dangerous team. But who was injured for the Sixers for that game? Who didn't they have? Oh, they had everybody? That's their team?
This is why I wanted Ryan to go first.
Joel Embiid had a good game, a very good game. 27, 12 and 2. That's a good game. You know what he can't do? Carry this team through the playoffs. There's no way.
The Sixers are Dr. Frankenstein. The Nets are Frankenstein's monster. They created it. They created what happened to them. They literally did, because the thing that we're not even mentioning is the guy who really went off against them, Seth Curry.
Seth Curry had 24
You know why?
points.
He was fucking pissed. He was fucking pissed because his father-in-law traded him when he didn't want to be traded.
There's another guy you got to give James credit for, Andre Drummond. They needed that big man.
Yeah,
they did, and they needed that as well. And now they have big man depth, because I think one of Brooklyn's issues before that was that they didn't have enough size. Kind of like
they solved that.
That's what I said.
I'm just going to give you credit, James. You said it.
Now they got size, shooting, and somebody to substitute when their part-time point guard isn't playing. Like,
it's all right. So let me add my favorite stat of the night. So the Sixers starters did not take a single shot in the fourth quarter, as an ode to Ben Simmons coming back to Philly.
That's good. That's good.
Yo, James Harden got outplayed by James Johnson. You know who James Johnson is?
I don't either. He's the most dangerous man in the NBA.
I know who James Johnson is.
Yeah, it's like, don't fuck with him.
40 years old. He
that man's like kill you more times black belt.
In 1992.
Like, nope. He got like 8 black belts. Don't mess with him.
He's got wild neck tattoos too. I know you don't. Mm-hmm. I'm turning the other way.
I think because Harden's not a killer.
Small game Harden.
He's not a killer. And like they traded for Harden, and I get why. I still agree with the decision, but they made the Brooklyn Nets a better team than they should have. And now it's like, if they play in the playoffs, I'm going with KD. I'm going with Kyrie. Like, guys, Kyrie's going to light your ass up.
They beat
like
the brakes
Harden
off
is
them.
Essentially a better player than Kyrie, but in a playoff series, I trust Kyrie.
Kyrie will play defense.
To play him. James Harden is a great post defender.
I get it, but Kyrie can turn it on and off really, really quick. You can see usually during the regular season, Kyrie does not try unless it's a big game like the one that just happened in Philly. I'm sorry. I'll let you guys continue.
No, go ahead. No, I think it's your turn, Cartman.
Piece of shit. I hate you.
Cal loves orange soda.
I hate him.
I do.
See, I'm wearing fucking orange and I'm fat. The jokes create themselves. Pumpkin, traffic cone with something stuffed inside. What else you want to do, you piece of shit?
Don't try to 8 Mile this, fam.
I'm gonna 8 Mile shit. I'm gonna wear the hoodie like fucking B-Rabbit, you piece of shit.
Don't 8 Mile this shit.
Oh, God damn it.
I know
Fucking North Carolina joning session. Like I'm not from DC.
I
you
am
piece
black.
of shit.
I am a fucking bum.
Motherfucker.
My girl does live in a trailer with her mom.
God damn. Can we talk about the Lakers? Piece of shit.
Wait.
LeBron dropped 50 yesterday.
Against Washington.
I just want to say.
How much KP do?
He didn't play.
He did?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Oh, yeah, 13. Ooh.
The Nets dogged the Sixers without the main piece of that trade.
Yeah. And that to me is the big is that Ben Simmons didn't even fucking play. Look, everything that you remember, even last week, I acknowledged that all you guys are right about one aspect. James Harden disappears in the playoffs in all big games. Joel Embiid can't stay healthy, and Doc Rivers is an overrated coach. So those three things all came to fruition. James Harden can't play on the court successfully without Joel Embiid there. That's a problem. We have to have both stars out there at the exact same time for them to beat anything. Tyrese Maxey looked like he checked out. He was just like, hey, it ain't our night. I'm just going to take this one.
You know why? Because he's like, you know what? I know what we're doing after the game. After the game, James Harden went with, what was it, Lil Baby and fucking.
Yeah, but Tyrese Maxey wasn't there, was he?
I doubt it.
Probably what? Like he's running with
Look, James is
Harden.
not.
Like,
James ain't gonna be that. James ain't that keep up type. You guys.
James ain't that guy. He ain't that guy.
He ain't bringing up. Nah, he got his own shit. He doing his own stuff. Daryl Morey might be with him.
Under his wing.
Daryl Morey might be with him, but that look.
Nah, he took Maxey under his wing.
He
thought Embiid had to do the step back.
Here's what I don't even like that man.
Here's what I do. The person I actually blame more than anybody for that loss, I mean, you got to blame James Harden. I guess that goes without saying, is Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers had a team that was unprepared under any circumstances for what the fucking Nets were going to bring. What it is they were doing with Seth Curry, who's undersized as shit, and like not pressing him or checking him at all, and letting him do whatever the fuck it is he want to do, seemed like a disjointed team that did not play with any emotion. And you'd think the Philadelphia was going to play with some emotion in this game. For Brooklyn, they were the definition of this is personal. Like, that's what it was. It was, James, you decided you're going to fucking leave for greener pastures? All right, bitch. Ben's here. He's our new teammate. He's getting shat on as we're walking down any Philadelphia street. We're going to play for him, too. They outright did it. And they also changed the fucking net. How by the end of that game, because I did go back and watch it because I needed to be able to talk about it. The Nets are kind of the team you root for now. They kind of flip-flop. James Harden has turned the Philadelphia 76ers kind of into the villains, which is crazy to me.
No, it's Philly fans that do that, but
I hear you. But I think the James Harden thing, as far as you've ousted yourself from two teams to situations that you wanted, and you're still not playing hard,
and you're making them worse,
and you're still not winning.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, look, I'm hopeful. I still think with the talent level in the combination of Joel and James Harden, when they're running together, I do think it's almost impossible to stop when they're actually doing it at the extent of which they can.
How are you going to stop that fucking pick and roll?
I still don't think it's stoppable. I know I'm talking about Brooklyn too. I know, but if anything like you guys were talking about, if the injury happens to Joel Embiid, if James Harden shrinks like he usually does in big games, and if Doc Rivers can't scheme and do what he needs to do in that situation, then yeah, it's over. Because you remember, even at the end of the episode, Keem had us rank our top 5 or top 6 teams that we thought at full strength were the best shot to win the finals. Do you know who my number 1 is? Brooklyn. I fucking said it on the pod. Brooklyn is by far, on paper, especially if Ben comes back and plays like we know Ben is capable of playing defensively. And even offensively, the way that he's going to complement what they do right now, Jesus, Brooklyn's terrifying. But I still think in a 7-game series, there's still a lot more time. Kyrie has a lot more opportunities to piss some people off in that locker room. Ben Simmons, if he doesn't take the shots the way he needs to take the shots sometimes, or is afraid to be fouled, could also have a lot to do with that locker room. I'm just saying, I'm not throwing completely out Philadelphia. They're still my pick, but I completely and totally understand, especially if that drubbing the other night. I might be completely wrong, and I'm going to get shat on the entire rest of the year, and I'm ready for it.
I'm going to push back on one thing. You said Kyrie has more opportunity to piss people off in that locker room. I think Kyrie doesn't piss people off in the locker room. They like him. He pisses off everybody else.
He pissed off Harden.
Well, I'll disagree. I'll counterpoint your point with that, James, is that the person that he pissed off now plays for 76ers.
Right. He pissed off Harden.
But like, if you look at it, James Harden was pissed off because Kyrie wasn't playing, right?
Yeah.
But look what James Harden's doing now.
He was putting up hella numbers before like that game. Like I know we're talking about that one game, but he was doing great.
All right, I'm gonna shit on myself again. Who'd they play?
Okay. I've been saying that.
I know,
sure,
but they played the Knicks twice.
That's all I'm saying.
Also, do you think maybe James Harden was just trying to instill some confidence in Ben Simmons by shooting 3 for 17 from the field? Maybe it's all.
You remember that stat? It was like, after the first game, James Harden tied Ben Simmons for most 3-pointers he tied Ben Simmons for his career 3-pointers for Philly.
Yeah.
I'm like,
game 2.
All right. I will 100% say it makes me happy. Philadelphia fans sad, just it does. But and I gotta stretch this to make it even tangible. The only spin I could ever have on this at all is Doc Rivers of Philadelphia saying we don't give a shit about this game. It's just a regular season game. And I doubt that because James Harden has not shown that he can turn on and turn off. Doc Rivers has not shown that he has teams capable of turning it on and turn off. That's the hardest I can possibly spin that. If Philadelphia doesn't get their shit together, Brooklyn's going to run fucking roughshod over these guys. Brooklyn's going to run roughshod over these dudes. It's just the way it's going to be.
I mean,
yes,
it's going to happen.
Yes.
I'm still holding out.
Yes.
I still look. My only prediction that I made that I said I'm taking to the grave is the Eastern Conference is winning a championship. That's the only thing that I said that I absolutely guarantee.
In the history of the NBA, like in the future? Okay.
No, this season.
No, he
the
said the Eastern
Conference is going to win.
But my only thing to that was like I think we all agree Brooklyn was the number 1 seed, but like I was the number 1 team as far as winning championship. So if Brooklyn doesn't, it doesn't fucking matter. But like I said, if anybody else comes out of the East, they're not winning. And we just saw why.
Yeah, I still disagree. I think Milwaukee, if they make it out of the East, is going to win. I think Philadelphia, if they make it out of the East, is going to win. Because any of those guys would have had to go through Brooklyn. That's what I kept talking about how battle pass.
I'll give you Milwaukee. Philly.
I even think unless it's Golden
the disrespect
State
for Miami is crazy.
Unless Klay Thompson turns to Klay Thompson of 4 years ago.
It's not disrespect.
Unless Klay Thompson turns to Klay Thompson of 4 years ago.
You watching Kuminga?
Nah, yeah, Golden State. God damn.
Hey,
James Wiseman's coming back.
Golden State's like the equivalent of fucking
Draymond Green's not there. They have a whole bunch of pieces coming back. So they're a great team. Huh?
Did you say we?
I said they have a whole bunch of pieces coming back. Come on.
Also, it's almost like they were down like 15 points at the half, and then they won by like 10.
There's only one Western Conference team that I think is capable of winning the championship. Like, really?
Okay.
Golden State.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, though.
All right,
I just think the East has guys that I can look at those teams and be like, they're going to win this thing.
But let's kind of wrap this up a little bit. We have like 2 more topics. One of them being the NBA MVP race, right? It's kind of the top 5. I think are clear. I think we can kind of all agree on the top 5. It's Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, and DeMar DeRozan in whatever order. That wasn't the correct order, but in whatever order you have them. So where do you guys kind of see this going? Who are your kind of like your leaders right now? Who do you think will win?
Same as last week, and every time we're talking about this, it's Nikola Jokic. No one wants to give it to him, but it is his.
Dude, he's got a double-double in almost every single game. He might have missed one.
And as far as definition,
big boy double-doubles. Big boy.
And as far as most valuable to their team,
he is their team a lot of the time.
He does everything.
And he's so like watching him, he is so skilled for being so big and goofy. Like he puts people on skates with just his movement. Like ridiculous. Like he does stand still. He's picked up his dribble and he's getting around you. It's ridiculous to watch.
He's having a better season than his MVP season last year. Like that to me is what it is. I just don't think anybody wants to give it to him.
It's probably going to be Giannis because they're more fun team to watch, but it should be Jokic.
The same way everybody, the Ja Morant thing. Like I'm rooting for Ja.
I don't think he's having a better season than last year, though.
You don't? Hold on, let me pull up the stats.
His stats. Oh, you asked for stats. Great. So his stats last year were 26.4 points per game, 10.8 rebounds, 8.3 assists, 1.3 steals, 0.7 blocks, 3.1 turnovers.
I am not
shooting 56% from the field, 39% from three. This year he's averaging 26.1 points, 14 rebounds, 8.1 assists, 1.4 steals, 0.8 blocks, 3.8 turnovers, 57% from the field, 35% from three.
Those are pretty good stats for a center.
Yeah, it's like almost identical though, because like she's worse from three, worse from turnovers.
He's worse from three, but he's 4% better as far as regular field goals, and he's 3 more rebounds.
He is 1% better.
What are you talking about?
As far as field goal percentage, he went.
Sorry. No, I was looking at 2-point percentage. You're right. Yeah. Dude, come on. I think it's arguable. It's arguable. It's whatever.
Let me add the other guy's stats though. We don't want to just focus on Jokic.
Yeah.
So Giannis, who I think is having probably a remarkable season and is not getting talked about enough because people want to talk about Jokic and Embiid. They're all 3 centers, and I think that's wonderful. And so Giannis is averaging 29.7 points per game, 11.5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 1.4 blocks, 55% from the field shooting, 31% from three. His free throw percentage is shaky. It's 72%, but it's actually better than the last couple of years. And he's doing that in 33 minutes a game.
Giannis is the best player in the league, in my opinion. But I still think Giannis is the same way that I always say the MVP race kind of gets political. The same way I think, I don't think I still think there's a chance Jokic doesn't give it because I just don't think anybody wants to give it to him. But Giannis, I think, is competing with his last MVP season. I think all those numbers are down, except for maybe minutes. Am I wrong about that?
I'd have to look, but this is his highest scoring season in his career. But I'd have to look. Embiid, let me give you Embiid stats for the year: 29.7 points per game, 11.2 rebounds, 4.3 assists. Field goal percentage is down from last year, but it's 49%, shooting 36% from three, giving you 82% from the free throw line. Again, 1 steal, 1.4 blocks, kind of similar to Giannis in that vein. He's played 53 games. Jokic has played 60. Giannis has played 56. And they're all around 33 minutes a game, which is insane.
Is the question, who do we think is going to win, or who do we think should win?
Who do we think should win, and who do we think is going to win? Because I think Jokic is clearly the leader right now.
I think people like me and other people have moved the box back over the other way where we thought nobody won, but now enough people are talking about Jokic in that way that I just talked about it, that I think he's now catapulted himself to number one. Not to mention the Joel Embiid thing is that game against Brooklyn is going to stick with people. And unless Philadelphia finishes really, really strong, I just think it's going to be a stigma. I think Giannis deserves it, but I think Giannis deserves it every year. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jokic up until Giannis takes it from him, I think, at this point. Because, yeah, I mean, Giannis, just in terms of, visually, watchability, I think more people tend to lean that way. But if you've watched Jokic play this year, it's got to be him, right? So
I should think.
But also, it's a stupid fucking award, and it never goes the way you think it should, because who the fuck's voting for it? In my mind, it will be Jokic this year, unless something changes drastically in the last 3-4 weeks of the season. How many we got left? 3 weeks?
March.
Yeah, like a month.
I think it's 1 month.
3-4 weeks.
It's a month. Yeah, James.
Take Jokic off the Nuggets, and I don't think they'll be below the Lakers. They would be below the Lakers. Take Giannis off of the Bucks, they would still kind of be in the playoff hunt, in my opinion.
Okay. But one counterpoint to that is that because they're in the East.
I mean, yeah, it's part of it, but I mean, I can also counter that by saying like, yeah, that's the teams they're playing. So like their record for where it is now is because they played mainly the teams in the East.
Okay.
But yeah, so Jokic is too fucking good, man.
It's like almost upsetting. And I'm like, oh, that could be a player on my team, but he's not. We have Chris.
I'm still laughing about how like when he was drafted, there was a Taco Bell commercial running.
Oh yeah.
Like they didn't even show him. They just like it's like a little thing on the bottom of the screen.
I'm shocked his brothers didn't come and like tear down every Taco Bell in the United States.
No. So what's next, Kim?
What's next?
I just want to add, the Bucks are 26-18 in their conference. The Nuggets are 15-8 versus Eastern Conference teams. Just want to add that. Okay. The Bucks don't necessarily do well against the Eastern Conference. They do better against the Western Conference, which is weird.
They get up for games.
Yeah, which is weird. It's weird. But I think that also has to do with like they play Eastern Conference teams when they were more hurt. And like because they haven't really had their entire team the entire season. Kind of like same way Denver hasn't. Except Denver's been a little bit worse.
Same thing about the Heat.
Yeah, I will address your point with the Heat. Here's my thing. I respect them as a regular season team. Eric Spoelstra might be the best coach in basketball. When it comes down to it, we all know this. In the playoffs, it's about superstars. I've said this before. They do not have the superstars to win a championship. Now, they have enough where they could be like a 2004 Pistons, maybe. Hey. And which they would be more talented than a 2004 Pistons team because Jimmy Butler is borderline superstar. He's like as close can get to being a superstar. But I just don't think that they have enough talent when it's going to come down to it because in a playoff series, if you're telling me that they're playing a healthy Bucks team and they got Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis versus Jimmy Butler, Bam, and PJ Tucker and Hero. I'm going to tell you that please give me the Bucks. I'll bet 1,000 on it. If you tell me, okay, they're playing a series against the Brooklyn Nets and Ben Simmons is playing and they're healthy, then it's Kyrie and it's KD and it's Ben Simmons versus Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry. I'm going to tell you, give me the Nets. Mm-hmm. And the same thing and so on and so forth with Philly. Even with Philly, even with Harden and Embiid, I'm going to tell you, give me Harden and Embiid. Because I think Embiid will, I was going to say a bad word, he will do things to Bam that will make him look like a person who is not good at basketball. But Bam is very good at basketball.
I don't think so.
Very good. Very good at basketball. I disagree, but that's just my opinion. Okay. I'm just one man. It doesn't matter.
I mean, there's a reason why they're number one seed in the East. So, but we'll see.
There is a reason, and that's because the Brooklyn Nets were fucking hurt all year. Because they were the number one seed and then they dropped off once KD got hurt. They're eighth. And
so there's a big difference.
Yes, because KD missed 21 games and they went like 4-17.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is there's a big difference from like 1 to 8, but all the other teams in the middle, like that you were saying, like, yeah, just shits on the Heat. I'm saying like we got to respect the Heat. Like they're the actual number one seed.
I'm saying I respect the regular season Heat. I respect that they're a good team. What I'm saying is when the playoffs come, like we're not going to sit here and act like the Bucks haven't dealt with injuries and Philly hasn't had like
so
they were missing Ben Simmons the entire season and Embiid was carrying.
So was the Heat.
They weren't missing a person the caliber of Ben Simmons the entire season up until the last 4 or 5 games. They inserted a superstar. Like, come on now.
Okay.
Like, I think of anybody, if we want to say it's worse, like Philly had it worse. They're missing who was the guy who was their second best player the entire season until the trade deadline.
That is on Philly, in my opinion.
But we're not talking about who it's on. We're talking about.
All right, fam. Look, I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing today with nobody. It's Zen James here. So look, we'll just see. We'll see. I just think the Heat are gonna be better than what people are giving them credit for at the moment. That's all.
What do you mean by that, though?
All right. So do you count the Lakers finals like when they won in the bubble?
I mean,
do you count that? Okay.
Sure.
So who'd they play? Who'd they play? Who'd they play?
They played the Heat.
Okay.
And yeah, we're not talking about 2 years ago. We're talking about this year.
Yeah, and I'm talking about how they're the number one seed in this Eastern Conference that KDOT says whoever's coming out the East is going to win. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, we said the Bucks play worse against the East. And who's in the East? The Heat.
But in a 7-game series, the Heat are losing. Is the point.
I'm not arguing because I can't say shit until it happens. But just know that I think the Heat could win it.
I will.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, John, when we named our 6, I think you had the Heat in yours. Were they 5 or 6?
I don't know, but it don't matter.
It do. I'm just saying because you said you think that he can win it. Okay.
I'm talking about the East. I'm talking about the East.
I just want to say I think the Heat could win it too.
No, the East.
All the other teams are injured. I said that as well. I think they could win it too. If they play, they're not beating the other 3 teams healthy, is what I'm saying. They're fourth. Hey, you got 8 teams in the playoffs. If they're one of the 4 teams that can win it, sure, 25% chance. 25% chance. Great. I agree with you. But if that's all we're talking about, then let's just move on to baseball being better, which is ass.
Yeah, let's just move on to baseball. A long time.
Okay.
Yeah, because y'all fuckers were arguing for like 20 minutes at a time.
Hey, baseball's
back. Or you want to scrap baseball for Brittney Griner?
We do got to talk about that, though.
Sorry, Ryan. Baseball's back.
All right, I agree. Let's go, Brittney Griner, and final thought can be baseball. Right? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We got to talk about Brittney Griner. She's still in Russia, so we feel bad. I feel bad.
Did you hear the shit they were saying? Like, yeah, imagine if that was Tom Brady.
Okay, listen.
Can we be honest about that? Can we just be honest about it?
Can we be honest about it?
Yeah, go ahead. Cook.
You want to take the reins first? Go ahead. Get spicy.
Listen. Okay, listen. All right. Here's a counterpoint to that. If it was Layla Ali, people would care more. If it was Serena Williams, people would care more. If it was Venus Williams, people would care more. If it's an athlete of a sport that people watch or a person that people care about, that care more. That is very true. People try to turn it into a male versus female thing. That's not true. If it was, I would even give you, if it was Maya Moore, people would care more. If it was Candace Parker, people would care more because more people care about those players. Nobody cares about Brittney Griner like that, even though she's one of the most talented WNBA players. She would be like, if it was the NBA, a comparison to as far as being a superstar and people not really necessarily caring what happens to that person, only because of American bias, it'd probably be like Jokic. Like he's great, but like no, the Americans don't really value Jokic like they should because he's an international player. Brittney, I don't know what the cause is or whatever. Maybe it's because she's not, on social media enough. I have no idea. But what I'm saying is, I just think that people care more for certain players, certain people. It doesn't really matter if male or female. That's all I'm saying. And we both know that if it was Serena, the fucking world would have been. Like we would have shot up the shit by now.
If it was Sue Bird, Russia wouldn't exist anymore. That's what
I'm telling you exactly. And I just don't think Brittney fits into that. It's bullshit that they're trying to make it that. Go ahead, K-Dot.
No, that's what it is. I mean, that's the thing is like, I get the want and desire to make it a male-female thing or to bring light to women in the WNBA and the issues with the WNBA. Cool, we can have that conversation, but this is not some grand indictment of it. The WNBA is not watched a lot. I'm sorry. It's just not. And I'm not going there, Ryan. God damn it. It's not as watched as some of the other sports. You're right. If it was Serena Williams or a lot of other women that were in this particular predicament, yeah, it'd be getting a lot more talking. If we want to have a conversation about why she was in Russia in the first place, which is to supplement her income because the WNBA doesn't.
That's the real issue.
Let's have a conversation about it, right? But this idea that, oh my God, she's not making the news because, yeah, come on. Like there's a bunch of male athletes I could tell you that if they were over there, we wouldn't care. I could go long form on that shit. Like there's a ton of, like if it was some random third stream, I get because of who she is within the WNBA as far as talent, it feels as though we should give her this. But the way the WNBA is looked at across all of the sports leagues, I'm sorry, it just doesn't make the revenue. It's not as watching much. People don't have the best interest.
Of this podcast doesn't even know what team he plays for.
I'd even go as far as to saying that there are quite a few baseball players that could have been in Russia. They could have been in Russia with a fucking thing.
I agree.
No would have said a goddamn.
There are.
I agree. I believe, listen, I have empathy for her situation and her as a person. Like, I care. I do care.
Although, bringing that into Russia and going through customs.
That was a dumb move, but that's not.
It's scary. It's scary. It's a terrible
for her situation, and as I would for anybody.
Yeah, you're right.
The reason that people didn't like know about it as much is because, like I said, she is not looked at, as far as like popular. She's not as high on the popularity chart, and we know that life is just a popularity contest. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like, I have empathy for her situation. I don't think she should be there. I feel bad for her as the same way I would if she was my fucking sister. But what I'm telling you is that she is not popular.
Is she the ASAP Rocky of WNBA?
Nobody gave a shit when he was over there. I'm just playing. They did.
People gave a shit when ASAP though.
They did. When he was over there stepping in nut and shit, he complained about.
Here's what I also say. If ASAP got caught right now, being that Rihanna's pregnant, it'd be a much bigger deal because Rihanna's involved.
It would be. That's very true. What team does Brittney Griner play for? Everybody.
I have no idea.
I can tell you what team Candace Parker plays for.
Chicago Sky.
I love WNBA time. It's just everybody gets to stop with the bullshit.
Yeah, I can't even name every WNBA team for sure. So.
She plays for the Phoenix Mercury.
It's the Phoenix Mercury. I can actually name that the Phoenix Mercury. Just kids.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, actually, I think I did know that.
I don't know a lot of the teams, but I do know the players.
She was supposed to be because that's where
I know like the Atlanta Dream.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Atlanta Dream. I know the New York.
Sparks, LA Sparks.
The LA Sparks, yeah. I wouldn't have said it, but
Supersonics.
Yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be the second coming at Taurasi. But better.
Huh?
You know Diana Taurasi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Legend.
She plays for Phoenix. It was supposed to be like she was coming in.
That's how I know her. That's how I know her.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like
here's the second coming of something amazing. Yeah. Like it's like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, right? Like
but different positions.
Yeah. But I mean, how old is fucking Diana Taurasi?
Like 40.
39.
Yeah, 40. All right, so that should be it for the pod, but I want to go ahead and get to everybody's final thoughts.
Let's start with Ryan.
Ryan, do you want to go first and talk about I don't know, baseball? I don't know.
You son of a bitch.
You're talking about people not caring. A league almost didn't play and no one gave a shit.
The hobby community did.
I mean, also it got a lot of ESPN coverage, so suck it. Baseball's back. Pitchers and catchers are reporting. I just want to remind everybody that Max Scherzer is still a Met.
Do you pitch and catch? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
A little bit better.
Depends what week it is, bud. I'm excited for baseball this year because
what about Max Scherzer?
He's still a Met. I just want to make sure everybody still remembers that he's still on the Met.
Huh?
But honestly, this is kind of hard for me because almost more importantly than baseball being back, Virginia Tech is playing in their first ACC championship game this evening against Duke.
Oh, you're getting hammered.
That's what they said every game up until this point. But we beat all of them. We beat UNC, who just
no. I'm talking about you, fucker.
I'm gonna get drunk. Yes, yes, I am. That is correct. Yeah, I'll be doing that, which is why I'm drinking coffee instead of booze early in the morning because I gotta pace myself.
Is the pandemic over? Can we come get drunk at your house sometime soon?
Yeah. I mean, the pandemic is definitely not over, but it is in this household. Come on over.
Yeah, we need to get together again.
Well, I'm pretty excited.
If the snow ain't bad.
VT potentially could make the tournament, even though our ACC record's awesome. So good luck to the Hokies tonight. And I just, again, want to reiterate that Max Scherzer is still a pitcher for the New York Metropolitans.
Fuck you.
And we open with the series against the Nats. If you would like to go, K-Dot, I would love to have you. I would love to have you sit next to me and watch the Nats get shellacked.
Juan Soto, motherfucker. We got the most exciting player in baseball.
You got Pete Alonso. He's fat. He drinks chocolate milk and he hits fucking dingers. That's what I'm going there for.
The Mets are going to be fun.
I'm not going to go there to watch the fucking Soto do his little.
Soto's the man. Don't fucking hate on Soto. You know you like Soto. You fucking like Soto.
He's the best player in baseball.
There you go.
All right, I'll go next. James kind of teased what I'm going to talk about anyway, but Jonathan Kuminga is really good at basketball. Like he's one of those rookies that's not being really talked about like that outside of like Golden State fans. But the kid can play. Like he reminds me a little bit of like a Sean Marion, a little bit of Iguodala. Like he can score, he can defend. He's hitting the three at a really good clip right now, and obviously it's easier for him because they fucking leave him open to hit three because they're so worried about everybody else. But still, he's hitting the three. He's defending like players like LeBron. He's defending other players. He didn't do that good of a job against LeBron that last game, but he's defending him before and did better. He is just like profiling as a guy who I think could be a superstar one day. Golden State did really good drafting him at 7. I still don't know if they should have flipped that pick for like, maybe somebody to help them contend this season. But he's going to get some playoff minutes, and the kid is nice. Like I can't wait to see what happens with him in his future. They also have Moses Moody, who's really good. And
Moody Moses.
Straight up fucking Harry Potter character, but okay.
And then they have James Wiseman, who's coming back. It's Golden State is trying to blend big threes as far as dynasties go. They have their new one would be Wiseman, Moody, and Kuminga for the future, and the current one is obviously Steph, Clay, and Draymond. I don't know if that'll work. It might cost them a championship, but I really like Kuminga, and I can't really blame him right now. So,
yeah, no, they're fun to watch, and I feel like a lot of teams are getting unlucky because they're running into an angry LeBron.
Yeah.
So yeah, LeBron's gonna have like 5 games where he's got like 40 plus points, and then he's gonna have to sit down because his knees can't take it. So
yeah,
sounds like indeed
the comeback is coming.
No, the comeback is off. Look who he played, and they just got fucking waxed by the Rockets. So
whose turn? My turn. There you go.
Sure.
And with James. Another topic I think we probably should have covered, but leave that to our shitty ass host to not get into it because he wanted to put baseball over Brittney Griner. What the fuck makes that decision?
I asked for input on all of the topics.
When?
I don't just make the topics. Literally before I say any additions or subtractions, I always say that.
I don't remember this week the conversation being there, but I
didn't do it in text. No, I did it before we started.
Oh, before we started. Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry, wasn't paying attention.
Okay, that's all right.
No. Yeah, you don't wear orange and it's fat like me. It's very, very hard to just.
I wasn't even going to say anything. I was going to,
I've got in front of it. I'm B-Rabbit. Fuck you. Shut up. You piss me off. Talking about the Lakers, Russell Westbrook being very, very upset at people saying Westbrook. I get it. Look, fans can be absolute assholes sometimes. I think everybody knows there's a line as far as coming after somebody's family. But the idea that every article I read had like the title Russell Westbrook very, very upset about being called Westbrook and the death threats. Let's lead with the death threats. Like the death threats are a problem, and that shouldn't be the thing that anybody deals with. But as far as being called Westbrook, come on, dog, it comes with the fucking territory. Like absolutely, and it's a great fucking nickname. I don't like using it just because I think it's kind of played out by now. But the Westbrook idea, like, getting criticized. It's the same way you get your money, man. People talk about the game. That's why the game is where it is. That's why if you get arrested in Russia, we're going to talk about you because people watch it and you get paid a lot. It comes with also criticism. Chill the fuck out. Nobody's feeling sorry for you. Unless we talk about the death threats.
He missed back-to-back layups. I don't want to hear shit from him.
Yeah, no shit. Plus, dude, come on. You're playing like shit.
You want your family to not be called Westbrook?
Be better at basketball, bud.
And the thing is, like, you want us to feel sorry for you when every opportunity you've had in front of the media this year, you've basically been saying how it's your right to be playing the way that you're playing and that nobody should be able to stop you from playing the way that you play. Come on, homie. Like, really? I want to say something, but I'm not going to because I know how. If he ever listened to this, he'd probably kill me at this point. But I'm gonna leave it alone. I love you in Washington, but I love you in Washington.
It's happened before.
Okay. Before, Cartman. I get what you're saying. Go ahead. Never mind. Go ahead, John.
Oh no, I wouldn't. Nah.
What?
Nothing.
I was saying you've been killed before.
Yeah, but no. I said somebody's wanted to
Kenny.
say something. Yeah.
They weren't.
Right.
Should have asked me for help.
That's Kenny. And I don't know why he says Cartman. Cartman doesn't wear orange. I'm not. Cartman wears red. There's the other.
No, Cartman's fat though.
He is.
Okay.
And annoying.
Crunchy black motherfucker.
My final thought is
Darkness,
I hope y'all get along. 1, 2. Yeah. I'm starting with that. I hope y'all get along.
Who?
Make up after this, please. All right.
I hope he ends up like Rodney
F1. F1 is coming back. Lewis is struggling. Mercedes as a team is struggling. Verstappen's looking good. Ferrari's looking good again. Finally, it's going to be an interesting year. I have faith in Mercedes to pick it up, but F1 lost a little bit of its luster with the last race of last year. That shit pissed me off royally. And then, of course, the director who made the call is no longer there. So it's like,
hey, at least they recognize their mistakes and then fire people as opposed to the NFL,
yeah, but you gave
MLB,
a championship away.
NBA. Hey, they gave it away and then they made the right moves, unlike the NFL, MLB, NBA.
I mean, the right move would have been to,
you can't go back and adjudicate afterwards, and that's the issue. You can't. You make a mistake and you have to deal with it. But they also dealt with it at the end by being like, you made the wrong decision. You got.
Yeah, it's like, but the rules with F1 is just so fucked up. Like in the beginning, for that to even be possible to happen.
And so look, hopefully they make more changes going forward. Unlike the NFL.
So hopefully Lewis can win it this year, like a revenge tour, and then just say fuck the sport and leave.
I called for that last year. I remember I said I thought Verstappen winning would have been good for Lewis to come back on a revenge tour this year. You haven't started Drive to Survive yet, right?
No, I haven't. I've only watched the season that everybody was saying that Botas was showing his ass on the joint. I didn't watch that season yet, so I'm before that one.
You're a season behind.
Yeah, no, I might be 2 seasons behind. Because I guess today what I can do is we're watching Bel Air, which is a great show.
I'm not watching.
And then after that we're gonna watch Drive to Survive.
Okay, they're really starting to feel more conspiracy like the more we're starting to watch this goddamn show.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Brittney Griner over the MLB being back. Fuck you.
It's the way things happen, man. I'm sorry.
Man, fuck the MLB.
She's black.
Does anyone think the MLB just has these strikes to get people talking about the MLB every few years?
It's been 30 years since this happened.
I'm just saying, they're like, all right, look, there's not enough steroids. There's no home run contests that everybody gives a shit about. Strike!
It's you know what? Barry Bonds can't get in, but...
Wait, everybody's been juicing for the last 3 months. So... because they stopped testing people. So you just get your regimen in for a couple weeks, let it out of your system. There'll be so many home runs this year. People going to come in 50 pounds heavier.
We'll see.
Kim, I love you, brother. I really do. You're an annoying prick sometimes, but I do love you
equally.
I'm surprised by that stuff.
I feel like you ate Key and Peele, so fuck you.
Led with love, got met with hate. And that's your lesson for today, ASOS fans.
And if you didn't know, now you know, because Cartman.
They showed you.
All right, y'all. Love you. Peace.
Peace out.